We Are Your Friends is the EDM-based movie which showcases Troy Bolton trying to make it in his DJing career. And it's actually written and directed by one of the producers and stars of the show Catfish, and where he took time off of the show to make this movie because he felt it was a very personal tale. Now to me, this movie had an aspect of it that sort of reminded me of a dude's Pitch Perfect. Not so much for the acapella, but more so having this college-age person who wants to be a DJ but is struggling to find their sound, and where you have these four dudes. The first one is obviously Zac. It doesn't matter if you're straight, you're going to find me attractive. Efron, who's playing the DJ. You then have that kid from Project Almanac who shows that he can actually act, even if he's playing a douche, as the promoter for the group. Shiloh Fernandez from Evil Dead is playing the producer, and where he funds them through his drug money, like Eazy-E style. And then you have Alex Shaffer, who is, well, you'll know him from this movie. Now, while the movie tells you that they're from the Valley and that it's not the best part of where they live in California, you don't necessarily pity them because they're very well-groomed dudes, and it's like, oh, okay, you guys don't have it super bad. However, they do have these two options that they have to go with. Now, the first one is that Zac Efron can follow and have a career with Jon Bernthal's character, who is practically his character from The Wolf of Wall Street. However, him being a DJ, he has the chance to follow in the footsteps of Wes Bentley's character, who he considers to be an overrated, just outwashed DJ. Regardless of which one he picks, his vision is a little bit blurred with Emily Ratajkowski's character, who is also playing the assistant slash girlfriend of Wes Bentley's character. So let's get into the good, the bad, and everything in between. Starting off with the good. Obviously, this looks like a movie that a lot of people are going, oh, EDM isn't an art form. This movie looks like a bunch of garbage. They're just wanting to sell it to all of the kids who, go to all these Coachella and all these festivals dealing with electronic dance music. And yes, that's there. If you're not a fan of EDM, if you're not a fan of Zac Efron, there is absolutely nothing here for you for the most part. If you're a fan of Zac Efron, you're going to love looking into his eyes and his biceps and his veins that are popping out. And if you're a fan of electronic dance music, this movie is practically a montage, for the most part, of being at a festival or just someone creating music and beats. For the dudes, I know they're going to love Ratajkowski's character because while I don't find her to be the most attractive, and now that she's coming onto the actual movie acting scene, here she is the most centralized. Like, that is her main purpose in this movie. And that's literally what she was hired for. So saying that this is the sexiest role she's been in isn't putting her down, because she signed up for, hey, what's the sexiest role you have where I can just dance and flaunt around? So for the dudes, I know you'll get your ticket for that. All of the plot points that we see in the movie are things that we've seen before, with the movie dealing with somebody who wants to make it in a career and they got to go through all of these struggles, and they started from nothing and now making it to the top. We've seen all of that before. However, this movie, what it thrives on is that friendship that they have. However, sometimes the friends sort of disappear, so it's like, oh, okay, so that relationship part isn't the best, and they'll bring it back later. But more so, I think it's that idea of some people not taking EDM seriously. This movie sort of approaches it in the aspect of saying, hey, if all you're making is electronic stuff, that's not art, that's complete garbage. You actually have to use real, natural sounds to be able to make good music. And I was like, all right, I can see that being sort of as an art form. There's also that whole concept in where they're sort of breaking the fourth wall. Like, they're the narrator to you at points, then they sort of do away with that. Sometimes they'll do it as a voiceover, with Zac Efron will be telling you how the heart rate goes and that whole method that he does when he's being a DJ. And it's cool for the most part, but again, if you like dance music, you'll like it a lot more, and especially because they have a lot of DJ cameos. For example, Zac Efron was taught by one dude. Well, that dude makes a pretty funny cameo in one of the scenes. However, the bad, and more so the verdict to it, again, you can go in there and have fun with this movie, but as I said, as a film, this thing is like a YouTube montage of someone who went to an electric dance music festival. That's really what it is. A lot of the shots are not in focus because he's just catching them on the fly. A lot of it is montages of him creating beats and then just at festivals and different things like that. But more so is the idea that a lot of people think that they're going to go into this movie and either be a DJ or want to become a DJ afterwards. And I don't want to unfairly compare it to Whiplash, but after Whiplash, you're like, dang, Miles Teller was a drummer. Zac Efron, regardless of what he learned behind the scenes, all he does is put headphones on, press a button, and sometimes move a little knob. And all of that leads up to what, again, it's supposed to be very personal for the director, so he has characters that sometimes aren't fully fleshed out. Like, there's that Alex Shaffer character. He's supposed to be the heart of the movie, and I don't want to compare him to other post-apocalyptic movies dealing with young adult adaptations, but once you see him, you'll know what character archetype he is that is also in those movies. But it's like, okay, maybe to you as the writer and director, which is always the difficulty, you feel a connection because you know who he reminds you of. You kind of show him, then he disappears and he comes back, and it's like, we never really built that connection that you want us to feel with him. I mean, you also have contradictions with the other characters, like the Project Almanac dude. He's always saying, hey, don't bro me if you don't know me. Yet several times he bros other people he doesn't know. The climax of the movie was another aspect that I felt, okay, you're trying to build it up throughout the whole film on how personal it is for Zac Efron to find his own sound. Well, when you do that, if the song that they played you was supposed to be what everybody was hearing, that thing was terrible. If it's supposed to be like half in his mind when he's remembering things, okay, I kind of get it. But then what he ends up creating at the end is more personal for him than it is to the people he's showing. Just like this movie has many aspects where it feels like it's more personal to the writer/director than it is to everybody else. So overall, if you are a DJ or if you like EDM music, and most of all, if you like Zac Efron, you'll go into this and enjoy the movie. And especially stay for the mid-credits. There's a scene that happens that I think is the most redeeming scene in the whole movie. But you'll like it more if you like those stuff. If you're going in there as a film fan or just someone who doesn't care about those things, you will not like it. It feels more like a film that was put together by a YouTube editor who was at a festival. And I will say that out of the DJ's movies that came out this past year, there was another one named Eden. I got to see that one, didn't review it because to me it wasn't that good. This one is better than that, I will say that for sure. However, for a movie dealing with music and someone trying to make it from the bottom, it's pretty basic. However, I'm always curious to hear your thoughts, what you thought about it, whether you liked it or you didn't. If you're a big EDM or Zac Efron fan, definitely let me know down below how much you loved it. I know you will if you saw the movie. And if you just weren't looking forward to this, then we can discuss that down below in the comments as well. As always, though, until next time, I'll be seeing you guys later.